Hey, hello there folks, it's me RJB from RJBTV, and it's been a couple of weeks, but I make my return to casting a replay, making a video of allegedly the real Flash playing against a player called Sungjin. I had this replay sent to me, and this is allegedly the real Flash. If this was played on a Korean server, this definitely is the real Flash, because I know that ID, C9 Flash, that is the real Flash, for as far as I know. I'd have to check on his stream whether this was actually the real Flash or not. But yeah, this is allegedly Flash against a player called Sungjin. I don't know who Sungjin is, but this replay was sent to me, I don't know by who, but I think it was Sungjin. So here we have Flash on the 9 o'clock Terran as the pink Terran up against the yellow Protoss. Let's see if we can go red versus blue. We cannot go red versus blue. We get yellow versus yellow, so it was probably played on melee. So what is Sungjin gonna do? He's got a happy face right there at the top. He's very pleased to be playing against Flash. They're chatting a little bit. I don't know what they're talking about, but it must be something very interesting. It has to be. So Flash there starts with a barracks first and into a supply depot. Very standard stuff there for a mid-spawn opening. Very standard. This is something that most Terran players do. And considering Flash has quite a nice amount of fast map experience, I expect him to know exactly what build orders to do and how to play the game. I mean, it's Flash after all. He learns these things faster than anyone else. He is the OG. He is the best player ever, or so it is said, and I'm not gonna, question whether he is. I really think he is the best player ever on StarCraft. He's proven himself time and time again over the past 17 years that he is in fact the one above all. So Sungjin there scouts Flash with his first scout attempt, and Sungjin actually does something that's more like a 3v3 or 2v2 build order opening. You don't really see triple gateway that much in 1 versus 1. It generally does not really work out that well for Protoss, because a Terran, once they get like some Marines out on the map, they get an academy, they get Stim, they just really run the Protoss over without much effort. He builds a pylon there, but I don't think there's going to be much of a problem for Flash, because he's got the Marine there hitting that pylon. It will of course make sure that the Zealot can get into Flash's base without any Marines in the choke trying to stop it, because you know what, the Marines are trying to kill the pylon. It looks like the pylon will not go down before the refinery is finished. So the refinery, the gas income is going to be slowed down a little bit because it's blocking the gas income, but it won't for long. So this is not really going to hurt Flash too much, but that small little time window of not being able to mine gas for 10 more seconds might actually be the tipping point, because sometimes games are lost over a time span of 10 seconds or less. So who knows? Marines are on the chase over the top side, trying to make sure that Sungjin does not get back into this section there in the back to hit some SCVs. We got Marines in the front there being pushed back by Zealots, but Flash responds very quickly. Zealot on the top there is still alive. He's pulling down, and that Zealot there overextends, loses a lot of HP, but all the Zealots are still alive. They're in the top corner, we got one, and we got a couple there in the front. He's going to push cannons forward, but I think he started his pylons and cannons way too far away from Flash's barracks. This is very far away, pretty much in the middle of the map. It's going to take a long time before those cannons even get to hitting the barracks. And because Flash went for a barracks before supply depot, his Marine count is pretty high, and because he went for a fast gas and academy afterwards, he's going to get Stim very soon, and then he's going to be just capable of pushing forward with Stim and break the cannons quite easily. The Zealots there, though, are still a problem, but Firebats are coming out. He's got 2 medics, 3 Firebats, and a couple Marines there. 1 more medic there in the back, healing up the SCVs to make sure that they don't die to the Zealot. Bunker there in the front to make sure that when the Zealots do push forward, he's got a bunker to retreat to and put Marines into. Zealots and Firebats in the front that die. We've got a Firebats do a lot of damage. Marines coming forward as well. Snipes a couple of those Firebats and Marines, but Flash still has a sizable fighting force, enough to fight back against those Zealots, and the bunkers are going to help him out for sure. But I don't think that this is really going to be doing too much of a number on him. We have a very fast Citadel of a Doom there from Sungjin. Probably going to go for something like a Templar's Archive. 1 cannon there in the back to make sure that he doesn't die to Firebats from a barracks that gets lifted over the wall. It's like you could put a barracks right there, get a fire bat or two, and then run onto the probes and kill the probes. So that is why we see the cannon, even though he is walled in at the moment. Barracks can fly, he's not going for that. Flash is really playing as a low eco, so both players are mirroring each other with their low eco styles. Flash is one more worker than Sungjin, although now they're equal. Getting a very fast factory, another bunker there on the bottom side. He's getting an engineering base, probably expecting something like Dark Templars. And you know what? I wanted to say that he is not wrong. We have a robo there as well. If it was just the Templar's Archive, I'd say definitely going to be Dark Templars, but because it's a robo as well, we might actually start seeing just regular Reaver Shield drops or Templar drops to kill that economy. I'm not too sure, but so far Sungjin is playing on the edge of pretty good and pretty well, which is kind of the same thing. He's just doing well enough, but didn't do enough. I don't think he did enough damage there to Flash to really comfortably say that he is in the lead. Flash has played this one really well, defended really well, had a great micro, which was to be expected. It is Flash, after all, one of the best micro players on the planet. So we got turrets there coming up on the top side. He's going for Dark Templars after all. I was expecting something like High Templar drop. He's going to go for a Dark Templar drop, and we do have turrets in the base for Flash. Command number 2 almost finished up. Going to get a... you know what? He cannot build a scan because this engineering bay is blocking the scan. So he will have to roll... Oh, he's lift. He cancels the upgrade to get the scan because he doesn't quite trust what Sungjin is doing. He's expecting Dark Templars. He's getting the scan. He also wants to get information on what the hell Sungjin is even doing, because he doesn't really know what's happening outside of his base. He has been outside of his base, but hasn't really scouted what Sungjin is up to. He doesn't actually know where Sungjin even is. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but I'm leaning towards he doesn't know. He does not know. So we got some armies on the bottom there, going for upgrades, attack there in the front, loading the Dark Templars, and now he's got the scan to take them down. So one of them goes down, the other one manages to escape with a little bit of health, but gets sniped down just on time. Very quick reaction there from Flash, trying to bait it into the turret range. Tanks in the front there pushing almost bunkers. Kills the Dark Templar number 3 as well. All Dark Templars are dead and gone. So yeah, Flash now, having killed the Dark Templars, can quite comfortably grow for about, I'd say, 40 to 50 seconds as the Reaver is still on the way. Oh wait, one Reaver's finished up. I might be wrong. He might go for a double Reaver drop or a single Reaver drop. I really do not know. At this point, I would say, excuse me, this one I would say go for the double Reaver drop. But he's going to go in with a single shuttle and a single Reaver, which means he will have to wait for another shuttle. I don't agree, but he might think this is the best choice. Goes in, gonna unload there on the bottom corner. Reaver there unloads. Gets a pretty good scarab there. Zealots are hurting him quite a bit. Okay, takes down the scarabs. That Reaver is then gone. That worked out really well for Flash. He did lose a couple of Marines, but that is something you are willing to accept. That's a great amount of Marines lost for killing a Reaver. So that's worth it. That is worth it. Zealots returning back home. Supply counts are about even. Flash is on 44 cities against 46 probes there for Sungjin. Sungjin has almost no protection at his nexus. But I don't think that dropships are being built by Flash. He's focusing on going for anti-drop with his Valkyries. And you know what? That's not a bad choice, but I do think that Sungjin is going for a very, very heavy gateway playstyle. That's a lot of gateways, a lot of Zealots in the front, and a couple High Templars. Finds the shuttle with one Valkyrie pushing the shuttle away. That shuttle's going to be low HP. That's a shuttle he can no longer use. So that's going to slow down his dropping ambitions, or at least weaken them, because now we only have 2 shuttles instead of 3. As number 2 and 3 are finishing up right about there on the top side. So level 1 attack finished up, going for level 2. We might have to get 2 more forges to get armor and shields as well. Getting more pilots on the top side there to build additional robos, I assume. We're on 53 probes. He's on 6 gas. 6 gas on 55 probes is quite a lot, to be honest. Although he's not mining for the bottom one, so yeah, now he is. He's setting them to mine. Yeah, I think he is slightly mining too much gas not enough minerals. He should be fine on 4 gas for now. Because you can see his gas is shooting beyond the mark where you would like it to be, whereas minerals are quite low. You'd rather have higher minerals at this point in the game, and your gas is something that, you know, scales up beyond the 10-minute mark, where you get like another gas and maybe another one when you notice your gas is quite low. So he scans the base. He's going for dropships. No drop. There's still just Valkyries and Valkyries. He's playing this very defensively. Very, very defensively. How many Valkyries does he have at the moment? I see 4 on the top. That makes it number 6. Yeah, 6 Valkyries at the moment, looking good. Going for ground upgrades. Oh wait, 8 Valkyries already. And he has 2 scans at the moment. He's scanning quite frequently because the energy is not super high on the scans. He's going to go for Arbiters as well. Settles in the front there being loaded up into the shuttles, and a couple of Templars in the mix as well. We got 5 shuttles ready to go. But we also have a lot of Valkyries ready to snipe them out of the sky. Valkyries are on the bottom there, though. They're on the bottom. So now moving them to the top. There's 7. There's number 8. It's going to probably go over 10 or 11. 10 or 11 is usually the point that you can kill large groups of shuttles really quickly like this. Starts unloading. Templar on the scene. Templar running to the bottom side. Gets a storm off. Hits, I'd say, about 8 of those SUVs. Hits a couple more. Hits almost everything. Hits everything, in fact. He, in fact, hits everything. That's a really big storms right there. He went from 65 down to 28. Gets a couple more Marines as well. 3 minerals are in the bank for Flash. 1 more storm on the SUVs, and that kills the rest of them. 19 remain. Flash has misplayed. Flash was not expecting that. He should have hotkeyed his workers for sure. So yeah, Flash is in a really bad spot right now. This is really, really bad news for Flash. Now the question becomes, can Sungjin capitalize on this advantage? He's got 62 workers against 25. He's getting a couple more gas, and he's getting Arbiters, 3 of them at the same time, getting Recall, getting Singularity, Charge, Armor, and Shield for ground. He's spending a lot of his gas right now, quite successfully. Still a little bit low on mineral income, but it's enough for now to finance his needs. But a tank drop or something would really ruin his day. But Flash is not going for tank drops, Flash is just going for pure defense. No tank drops today, just pure defense. He scanned the front there to see where the shuttles were, but the shuttles were already gone. And Flash is not too sure where the shuttles are going to be coming from. They're going to be coming from the bottom. There's another second shuttle drop there from the top side. He finds that one at the top side, then the one at the bottom side. You know, it's comfortably sitting there, waiting for its moment to strike. And you know what? That moment is right now. Flies in. One shuttle might go down before it unloads. He actually gets another storm off on the SUVs, but pulls most of the SUVs to safety. Split them up in 2 directions. Got 31. I think he had like 35, 36. So he still did lose some of them, which in this game state is still a nightmare. You rather not lose anything at all. Like even losing 6 when you got 35 or like 38 is still a pretty bad situation. So yeah, he's not happy about that. He's not happy about losing those SCVs. Another drop there on the way from Sungjin, entering the middle. He's gonna keep on sending out those double drops, those tricky drops where you're focusing on one of them and another one comes in from another direction. And these tanks are moving out. Rather difficult. We got a Stargate proxy baser on the bottom from Sungjin. Gonna go for a frontal attack. He's got level 1, 1, 2. The upgrades are pretty good. For Flash as well. Flash is already on 2, 2. But that's the hallmark. That's a trademark of being a really good player. Being on the defense, getting attacked, getting hurt, but still having 2 upgrades this early into the game. Drop it over the bottom side. This triple shuttle coming in. Templar storm, but Templar misses the storm. That's a lucky break for Flash. That's the break that he needed. He needed that break specifically because now it means he can comfortably recover his economy for at least another 30 seconds. Unless this drop goes in right now, but I don't think it will. The frontal attack really was a disaster. He didn't even attack the supply depots. He was just focused on the drop. The attack on the front was purely intended to take focus away from the shuttles flying in. But a better player, in my opinion, than Sungjin would have definitely attacked the supply depots in the front as well. I think that is what's holding him back. He should have really just targeted the supply depots in the front and flew the drop in at the same time, so that he at least loses these units while also achieving something there in the front. Right now he's achieved nothing in the front except losing supply, but he is still in the lead. Flash is on 63 workers. Flash is getting into strong territory for Flash. Like, Flash on 70 workers would be a nightmare. He's got 4 command centers now, getting a couple more supply depots, getting level 3 attack and armor for his tanks now. He's got a pretty good army. He's getting more factories as well. He's got a lot of them already. Actually, he only got 4 of them, and adding another 5. So he's still not that far progressed with his factory production potential, so to speak, but you know, he's getting there. And we've got a proxy base on the bottom for drops, for carriers as well. 1 carrier already on the way, getting disruption webs, getting hallucination, getting Templar, getting arbiter energy, getting level 3 attack and 2 armor. Yes, Sungjin is getting his upgrades quite diligently. Attacks the front yet again. This time around, he is in fact attacked. No, yes, he's attacking the supply depots. Drop from the top, gets scanned there by Flash. Flash is... oh, he failed to mind control and recall. He wanted to mind control and recall. Probably to this top corner? No? Somewhere in his base, yeah. He wanted to mind control and recall the SV, but he recalled before he used the mind control and nothing worked out for him. That means Flash is going to move out. Flash just killed a lot of Sungjin's supply. And Sungjin is now making carriers on the bottom with 6 Stargates. And Flash is like, you know what? This is the perfect time for me to attack. Because I just defended a super big supply count attack of like 80 supply or something. Like a lot of zealots in the front, shuttles and whatever else. Arbiters, get a stasis up on the Valkyries, but that is not one of Flash's worries right now because he has a lot of tanks ready to go. Got tanks on the edge, tanks entering the middle there. Sungjin should have already had his carriers out onto the map. He held on to those zealots for far too long. Now the carriers are actually going to be late because Flash is going to push forward and Sungjin does not have anything to stop those tanks. He's got High Templars there though, but the High Templars generally not as good as carriers are. Now he does have more stasis for the Valkyries to buy himself a little bit more time, but yeah, there's double stasis there on the Valkyries, but the carriers are still very, very far removed from entering the battle. And he has to fly them all the way around the map towards this point where he's fighting. And 6 carriers is 6 supply each, so yeah, we've got 36 supply of carriers not participating in the battle. And honestly, the Arbiters are not participating either. They are providing some cloaking, but the damage they're dealing is negligible. Now, they are, of course, helping with using stasis on units, which does help him buy time by taking some of Flash's forces out of the equation, but it is negligible. And the carriers in the bottom here are dying to turrets. They don't have a lot of interceptors. It's very sloppy play here from Sungjin. He's losing his carriers to turrets, which is one of the noobiest things I've seen in my life, but that was just a momentary lapse of judgment and awareness. He lost 2 carriers for nothing. He's getting a really good shield battery build up here on the bottom to help heal the carriers when they go in. Sungjin is playing strong, but he definitely made a big mistake there with the timing on his carriers and how he used the carriers so far. Goes in again, but once again, not enough interceptors on the bottom. Not enough. You gotta wait for all the interceptors to be finished producing before you go and attack there. Now he's shooting with the cannons over the high ground to kill the turrets, but Flash is pushing forward inside of Sungjin's base. Sungjin does not have any fighting supply back at home. The carriers are fighting on the bottom, but they should be on the top side of the map, and they're now moving. But when they start moving, the Valkyries come in and snipe them. The carriers are stuck on the bottom side of the map. The carriers are stuck on the bottom side of the map, and Flash knows that the carriers cannot leave. All the supplies on the bottom, but he has to defend here back at home. So I get what Sungjin was trying to do with proxying the carriers to the bottom side of the map, But in the end, it really hurt him. If those carriers had been built back at home, he would be defending this right now. I wouldn't say easily, because they still do have three upgrades there on the Goliaths and the tanks and the Valkyries, but he would be defending this right now. Because they're on the bottom of the map, there's nothing he could do except keep the carriers on the bottom of the map. The Valkyries really keeping them locked on the bottom. Although they do have 0/0 upgrades. And these also have 0 upgrades. I don't get it. I don't get it. Wait, let me rewind a little bit. Because he probably does have upgrades on the carriers. He probably does. He does have double robo there, so he was getting carrier upgrades. It's just usually at the end of the game, when you leave, the upgrades disappear. So we have one interceptor there. He's on 2-1-2, so he did have upgrades. He had superior upgrades in the air compared to Flash. So maybe he should have just tried to fly in a circle around. Because the Valkyries with their 0/0 upgrades probably would not have done that much damage against the carriers. Because look, we got 6 damage there per rocket. And these carriers have... I can't really show it. Like every one of them is making something. They have like 2 base armor. So +2, we got 4. That means 2 damage per rocket from the Valkyries, which is not a lot. So they probably could have flown in a circle around and helped them defend. Probably. But yeah, Sungjin makes some mistakes. He had some great plans going on in his mind. You know, setting up a second base for, you know, attacks from 2 sides, opening up the bottom side. He just forgot that Flash can just move out into the middle and attack and kill him, which happened. That's the match for today. Sunjin played well, but ultimately sabotaged himself. Let's put it like that. See you next time.